Oh my god, is my Well Yang gonna die? The Aventurine bug has been discovered for a while now. So to kind of summarize, in case you guys don't want to watch a quick little clip, according to Aventurine's Bingo A6, it provides an additional fortified wager that can block damage equivalent to blah 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 blah. So it's basically this, but double. So instead of like one regular mini shield that you gain from a follow-up, the ally with the lowest HP will gain a additional shield, like basically a double shield. So this has been discovered for around a month now, right? It has been around for a month, where Aventurine simply does not provide the additional shield to the target with the lowest amount of HP. And until this day, it has not been fixed. And today, we're gonna take a look at a programmer explaining the worst bug in Star Rail history with more than 100,000 views now. And let's just see what's up then.
You probably know that Aventurine is currently bugged in a way that nerfs him pretty significantly and has been since the start of version 2.7. Today, I'll be explaining the likely causes for why he's bugged and why he still isn't fixed yet. But if you aren't aware, the bug is related to his final Ascension trace, which is responsible for providing shields to the team upon launching his follow-up. The bug makes it so the final portion, which states that the ally with the lowest shield will receive double the amount of shielding, will never activate. It's not situational like most other bugs, it is literally reproduced 100% of the time. It may seem small, but this really sucks since it's Aventurine's main way of protecting your most vulnerable teammate, as the rest of his shields are non-targeted AoE, and given that he's a popular character to use for his defensive strength and synergy with follow-up teams, and he had his rerun very recently at the end of 2.6, a lot of players are actively suffering from this bug.
My take is just run Lingsha. Hey, if you were to pull for Lingsha, you would never have none of that. Right? Lingsha deals damage. Lingsha has toughness break. Lingsha has 5 target AoE. Lingsha has an emergency bunny cleanse that heals and cleanses your entire team, right? Lingsha has a ultimate. Lingsha deals so much goddamn. Just Lingsha, bro. Alright, so the solution to this problem is very simple. Stop pulling for men, pull for real units like Lingsha, right? Excellent.
Many are justified.
That's a joke, by the way. Hail Aventurine.
Upset that despite the bug being discovered very early on in the update, it hasn't been fixed for a whole month. We are talking about a 5-star character that people spent real money for with a certain expectation in mind after all. Given that the Star Rail devs have reported that they are already aware of the issue, and that other bugs which popped up during this update have already been fixed, there's a 99% chance Aventurine won't be fixed until 3.0. I recently graduated with a degree in computer science, and I've had some experience working on games inside Unity, the engine Star Rail is made in, so I'm gonna
can make meta. Star Rail meta. Star Rail me-side.
try my best to explain why this bug happened. So a lot of people have already deduced that this bug is due to code changes brought upon by the upcoming introduction of Remembrance's Memo Sprite summons. I mean, it will be one of the most significant alterations to the core gameplay we've ever seen.
We're gonna be discussing this in like 2 days. Or actually, by the time this video goes up, probably 1 day. Where we'll go through exactly how Memo Sprites work in Honkai, because it will be a very, very core mechanic for the entirety of version 3, not just 3.0, 3.1, 3.2, every single summon DPS that has a Memo Sprite. This will quite literally change everything. Because for the first time in Honkai Star Rail history, you're playing with 5 units now. It is quite literally 5 different units instead of 4, and it has never happened before. So this might be one reason why a group targeting ability, the AI cannot just consider 4 units anymore. And that might have been a potential cause. Like maybe for the past couple of like 1.5 years, every single like heal or shield or buff that's applied to the entire team, maybe they just coded it as 4 targets. But for the first time, it's gonna be 5. Who knows, it might be 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, right? Imagine you're fucking playing Heimerdinger, you build like 3 turrets. You have a 7-team unit in Honkai Star Rail. Absolutely diabolical.
But why would that affect Aventurine now rather than in 3.0? Well, we just got Sunday, whose skill explicitly interacts with characters who have a summon, whether it be the automatic kind we've seen up to now, or Memo Sprites. What the developers likely did is code Sunday in a way where he still works with the current summoners, but when they add in Remembrance, he will already have the correct interactions ready to go. This way, they wouldn't have to program 2 separate versions of him, being one with Memo Sprite implementation and one without. but in order to do this, they would have had to change some of the internals with how characters work, likely related to allies and targeting them with friendly.
Oh my lord, Jingyue is not looking too, bro. Wait, what are you doing? Save him, bruh! Bro, it's literally the first fucking... It's not even the first cycle. It's literally the 0 cycle, and bro is at 800 HP. What the fuck is this Huan doing? Bro is just doing nothing.
The abilities. Aventurine's trace uses the word ally to describe who it grants its extra shield to, and we can see from the livestream that Huahua uses her skill, which targets a single ally, to heal Aglaea's summon. So we can safely assume Memo Sprites are considered allies.
Oh my god, I just realized, doesn't that make Huan quite bad going forward? Because nowadays, okay, the reason why Huan is like not too bad, because when you target somebody with your skill, right, it's like 3 targets, right? Main target with 2 adjacent. But if you're gonna be using remembrance units in the future, let's just say you use multiple remembrance units. You run like RMC with Aglaea, that's like 4 units. Plus Huan is 5. Plus Sunday is like 6. So now her skill only covers half the team instead of like 3/4 of the team. And this will probably even get like more annoying when more and more remembrance path units comes out. Then units like Huan, their skill targeting, which only targets 3, it technically affects like as a percentage of the entire team lesser as in Huan.
Is by the game's logic, just like other characters.
TLDR Pu Ling Sha, absolutely.
With this in mind, I'm going to visualize an example scenario of what likely led to the bug. The actual details might be a little different, but this should help demonstrate how stuff like this can happen. So Aventurine's bonus shield targets the ally with the lowest shield value as we know, and in order to do this, the game needs to compare the shield value of every ally. When Aventurine's follow-up attack activates, let's say it calls a function to carry out this process. Typically, such a function would accomplish this task by iterating through a list containing references to all your current allies from which you can get their values to compare the shields. The function stores the lowest number it's seen so far and the character associated with it before moving on to the next. Upon reaching the end of the list, it then returns the reference to the lowest shield ally so that Aventurine's follow-up knows who to give that extra shield to. Since the number of possible allies on the team is expanding from a hard maximum of 4 to potentially 8 if each character has a Memo Sprite,
oh my lord.
it checks out that the developers would have to alter the way the team data is stored to accommodate for this. Once expanded, then Sunday's ability to grant buffs to a character and their Memo
There's 4 mehs now.
Sprite can be implemented. And this list of character references wouldn't be located in Aventurine's code, of course. It would be somewhere more public in visibility. This way, any character that needs to reference this list for whatever reason already has access to do so. This would explain how Aventurine got affected even though he himself wasn't changed in 2.7 and why Sunday's addition would necessitate such an adjustment. My assumption is that something about these empty references is somehow causing Aventurine's bonus shield to end up going to a non-existent ally. But
okay. So, okay, I kind of get it. I kind of get it. So right now, the code to account for version 3, they are making imaginary slots. Like schizo slots. They are literally schizo slots with units that does not exist. And in this code specifically, they technically have 0 shield. Right? So if you were to take the iteration of the first 4 units, let's just say like 200, 150, 50, and 100. By right, it should only take the iteration of the lower shield in the first 4, right? But because you have 4 schizo units, and technically none of them have a shield because they don't exist. So they have a shield value of 0. And because of this, the Aventurine iteration will want to give the shield to the schizo unit because they have 0 shield, because they don't exist and they have no shield. So this buff is being implanted onto the schizo unit instead of the unit that actually does exist. Ooh. Type 1 if that's true. Type 1 if that's true, chat. Type 1 if I solve the riddle. Type 1 if I solve the riddle. 1, any coders here? And there it is, and there it is, and there it is, and there it is.
But without knowing specific details like the structure of the character list, nor how the game reads through the list, the exact how and why are going to remain unknown. As for why a solution hasn't been implemented yet, I suppose just being lazy is a possibility, but we have no way of knowing how complex the issue actually is, and I certainly don't know the technical restrictions for pushing out hotfixes to the live version of a game. I'm guessing that once memo sprites are fully implemented, the game should have the correctly defined behavior in place such that they are properly not factored into the find lowest shield ally function. If the devs do have this working on their 3.0 dev build, migrating that stuff over to live could still be too big or difficult for a hotfix, with further complications such as pushing updates to the Apple App Store requiring time to be reviewed and accepted. For the record, Hoyo still hasn't confirmed the bug will be fixed in the next update, but I mean, if it still persists in version 3 then
How does bro get all these like crazy ass MMD expressions? Huh?
that would just be completely ridiculous. The problem could also be that trying to do a hotfix ends up breaking things and leading to more issues than is realistically worth dealing with when the problem is going to go away in a few weeks regardless. And even if they could do something like revert the team storage to a previous version, then Sunday would probably break because he's trying to reference data that isn't there. So from their perspective, just letting the bug run its course for 2.7 and then giving us an appropriate amount of apology.
100 stellar Gs. Okay, you know what? 100 is 100, you know? A 1/3 of a pool is 1/3 of a pool. Wait, sorry, 2/3? 2/3? 3/5-ish? Right, it is what it is.
Jades might unfortunately be seen as the best option for them as much.
Oh my god, I just realized. Completely unrelated, but we're never getting a ratio rerun, are we? I think we are actually never going to get a ratio rerun. Because if you think about it this way, right? They are releasing My Day. Imaginary Destruction. They just reran Face Shell. A follow-up DPS that ignores Toughness Bar. They reran Robin on the Phase 2. I think Ratio is never coming back, guys. If he does come back, he will be a unit like Silverwolf, where nobody will pull for him. Wait, do you guys actually want Ratio? Who actually wants Ratio now? At this very juncture of the game, who needs Ratio now? Nobody wants Ratio. Nah, I'm good. Ew, man, not anymore. I'm chilling. I need his light cone. Okay, okay, yeah, that is fair though. Right, that is fair.
As much as it sucks. I want to reiterate that I agree with the people who are annoyed by this bug, and there's nothing wrong with holding Hoyo to a high standard by criticizing them. But hopefully this video helped you understand a bit more about why this bug happened, and why the unique circumstances surrounding its origin means it's unlikely that cases to this scale will be happening again in the future. More updates that require restructuring the foundational code of combat are going to come eventually, but they will be rare, and having to push out some of it a patch before
if my facial did 100k damage,
makes it even more.
Holy elitists, just quit the game, bruh!
Also, last thing, shout out to those Hoyo programmers that work on fixing bugs that most players never even hear about. You guys will always be cool. I hope you found this video to be interesting or insightful.
Okay, I think he really summed it up very well here, which is basically because of the introduction of Mimo sprites, when they are actually introduced to the game files from version 3.0 onwards, the programming for this will make it such that there will probably be a command or a line which determines if Mimo sprites exist in the team. But for now, because no such thing exists, there isn't a line to determine if there is a schizo unit. So for now, I think it just assumes that there are always schizo units. So when 3.0 rolls around and they have the code, I think the program will do the optimal rotation or whatever fuck, and it will determine that, okay, there's no schizo unit, I need a buff Babin, which only has 50 shield. So theoretically, the problem would be fixed by version 3. Whether or not is it worth it for them to fix this in 2.7? I mean, do you guys not have phones? Do you guys not have Lingsha? Do you guys not run Sustained Fugue? Do you guys not run Sustained Rame? Right? Do you guys not have, like Diablo Immortal? Do you guys not have phones? So I think it's just, it is what it is, man. No, just run, no. Yeah, I think he basically summarized it very well. I do think the issue probably would be fixed by version 3. And then everybody will kind of just forget about it. From a developer cost standpoint, it really might not be worth it to like rewrite the code specifically for 2.7, and then version 3 they change the code again just to fit with the brand new thing, right? So yeah, I think that's pretty much all there is. Very good video, very good insight from RedFlaim, a programmer explaining why the worst bug in Honkai style history is not fixed, right? So word of the day is gotta be Schizo. Join Twitch, join Discord, join Twitter, all the best. We're gonna see you guys next time. Take care.